I've reconsidered my stance on Fu Xuan, but the reason isn't the same reason that you might have. The truth is, I have a crippling gambling addiction that needs immediate assistance. I really shouldn't be saying that on camera, but I can't stand skipping every banner. Your reason? I think I can piece together exactly why you want the pink tsundere. Let me explain. Now, in our short series of Fu Xuan videos, we've seen a character go from literally being mid to being one of the best irreplaceable characters in the game. And with her being a preservation character, we understand that the value she has for the team allows her to be a frontline eccentric character. She's going to be the tanking character soaking up all the damage, just like the other preservation characters. This character is very unique. You see, all the characters we have currently provide mitigation in some way, shape, or form, maybe in shields, maybe just straight up damage reduction, but Fu Xuan is a character that may not have any shields. Maybe this character is essentially a character that is going to be negating damage from the team in the form of damage mitigation. So that makes her a preservation character, although she doesn't really have any shields. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because we made countless videos on all the preservation characters, and the reason that March 7th is a character that sticks out to me the most is because she has a lot of power baked into her kit. You probably have been using, or maybe you've seen other people use, March 7th in the current Forgotten Hall, Memories of Chaos, because she has a lot of value there. She's able to cleanse a debuff with her elemental skill while putting a shield on that ally. On top of that, she can also put another shield at the start of battle with one of her Eidolons, and with her being a 4-star, skilling based off of a defense, having high base stats for the defense, she's able to utilize defense very well and is able to snowball off of that and give very strong shields to your allies that you probably may or may not want to get hit, while also increasing the taunt value of that target with the shield depending on their HP level, which is very, very valuable. Now, I've been using Yepard for the longest time, and I think he is a very, very good character. So good that you probably use him on your account right now. He's a character that is very skill point positive, meaning he's able to generate skill points for the team. He also provides very strong and very massive shields to your allies, while also having higher taunt values because of his traces. He is the bread and butter of preservation, the best preservation character, because, well, I mean, let's be honest, he technically is the only 5-star character at this point. But with Fu Xuan on the way, things may change a little bit, and I would go as far as to say things will probably change for a certain team we'll cover later in the video. Although Yepard is an amazing character, one thing about this character I can't get around is the fact that I try to make him work in a team with Silverwolf, but it's really hard to use him with Silverwolf because he keeps getting Silverwolf to put that weakness on the enemy of the ice element. I don't want the ice element on the enemy. I want quantum. So if I were to get a quantum preservation character, that would allow me to have better synergy with Silverwolf and would allow my seal to do more damage because the enemy will have lower resistances because that enemy will have the quantum weakness. If that enemy isn't weak to that element you're hitting that enemy with, then that enemy will have higher resistances and higher damage mitigation against your element that you're hitting it with, in this case, quantum. So while Yepard is a very good character, he's a character that a lot of people probably won't use in the long term. And the reason being is because that team with Fu Xuan is going to be a team that's going to change everything. And we'll of course cover that in a later video, because I think that deserves its own dedicated video. So with my mono quantum team, I can't really get much value out of Yepard, although he is a very strong character here. The problem is there always is going to be that 50% chance of landing that ice weakness on the enemy, which is very infuriating sometimes. And I would go as far as say my 50-50 luck isn't normally good in Hoyo risk games anyways. So a character like Fu Xuan would have more value on my account because I will have a 100% chance to put that quantum weakness on the enemy, while also filling in that role as a preservation or defensive option. The current trend of limited characters is something of the sort of characters being extremely strong upon release. So strong that it's really hard to justify skipping the character if they have a lot of value on your account. So a character like Silverwolf is really good for me. And I'm sure a character like Fu Xuan will be even better because A, she will be a quantum element, which allows me to have a mono quantum team, and B, she'll be a limited character. And if the past is an indication of the future, or at least one of them, then we know she will also be a very strong character upon release. Surely. Now, with Fu Xuan being a preservation character that is limited, she has to be better than the current cast of preservation characters where you can't really justify the amount of pulls, maybe 160 pulls if you're unlucky, to get the character. So she has to do something that the current roster of preservation characters can't do. And I think I can pinpoint exactly what she can do that would be beneficial to your team. So if we take a look at my Seal, she has horrible stats. Very low crit rate, and her crit damage is kind of mid. I've been seeing many players with better stats than my Seal, and I'm honestly really jealous. But I want a character that is able to give my Seal a higher crit ratio without having to rely on the RNG of artifact farming or relic farming in Honkai Star, I guess it is now, right? So a character like Yukong would work pretty well. But the problem is that Yukong isn't a quantum character. Yukong is a imaginary character, which is pretty much the polar opposite of quantum. Think of this as the light element. So she has no purpose in being in the same team with Seal and Silverwolf. So Fu Xuan has to essentially be a character that works well is quantum element while also providing a buff kind of like Yukong in order to enhance the performance of your characters in the mono quantum team. So if Fu Xuan was able to give a crit rate or crit damage buff, I think that would bring the mono quantum team or your Seal to the next level. And a character like Seal was constantly getting stronger over time, which of course is another video for another time. So let's talk about one more thing. One of the reasons why I'm kind of bearish right now about Fu Xuan, bearish, if you're familiar with stock terms, that means on the side of not really wanting to do whatever that may be in the case, and in this case, roll for Fu Xuan. And the reason being is because there is another character that is of the quantum element, that is a defensive option in the form of a healer and cleanser. That is also a 4-star that will be on maybe her banner or Den Hang's banner. If Lynx is strong enough to be a defensive option in the mono quantum team, then I necessarily don't need to go for Fu Xuan. And 4-stars aren't really too hard to get unless you have the worst RNG in the world. So more often than not, most players will get the 4-star before they get the 5-star. And Fu Xuan may not be necessarily needed if Lynx is as good as she is currently. But of course, only time will tell if that stands true. Lastly, there is a light cone I haven't really used on any character yet, but I believe this light cone will have a lot of value on Fu Xuan perhaps. If that character is already able to mitigate damage, well then she can mitigate even more damage with this light cone, which I'm sure will stack with that character's mitigation as a preservation character, while also giving healing to the allies because maybe she doesn't heal. So if you're not using a character like Lynx and instead using Fu Xuan in that mono quantum team, then the defensive option will also be a damage mitigator while also healing the allies at a certain point after and before the battle. But knowing Hoyoverse, they will find some way to sell you her light cone because that's what they're best at, monetizing their audience. Oh, and I guess I forgot to mention, Fu Xuan also needs to be a skill point positive character, but I guess that went without saying. We have Luocha, who is a abundance character, 5-star limited, who is skill point positive. We have Yepard, who is also skill point positive. So there is no doubt in my mind that Fu Xuan will also be skill point positive. Because if she's not, then more people will be outraged about that fact, considering all of the other defensive options are skill point positive. So it doesn't make any sense for her to not be skill point positive. That's why I'm not worried about it. But anyways, there you have it. Fu Xuan is a character that will have a lot of value depending on the player. If you are someone who enjoys mono quantum, which we'll cover in a different video, who also may like pink tsunderes, then this is the character for you. And maybe this character might be for other people depending on the power level and the value of this character compared to other preservation characters outside of mono quantum. But we'll have to wait and see. Thank you for watching and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.